Yeah, I always use the Mississippi rule. If they're messing me up by one Mississippi, I don't really bother much about it. But if they're messing me up by two Mississippis, I kind of toot the horn a little bit. Then if they're messing me up by three Mississippis, I let all hell go loose. Flash the headlights, leave the horn
Or time to
on.
bring out nuclear phasers.
Yeah, I'd like a phaser button on my dashboard sometimes, but I probably really wouldn't use it. I guess.
And I'm not even in Atlanta anymore, and I still get frustrated with traffic.
Oh, the last couple of 3 weeks.
What you need in Atlanta is deflector shields.
A tank.
Clear weapon.
Yeah, yeah. An
I always
MRAP.
wanted to try a tank to drive on I-285.
All right, we'll go ahead and fire this up here. This is the Southwest Florida TechNet. Hello, everybody, and welcome. It's Friday night here. We're just a few weeks before Christmas. It's the 10th of December. Yeah, we're getting there. We got one more net before Christmas here. Christmas is on the 25th. There will be no net on the 24th. I can tell you guys, my family, we do our whole thing on the 24th. So the evening, and then we go over to the rest of the family and do Christmas Day. So we will not be having a net the 24th. So we will be here next week on the 17th. We will not be here on the 24th. And then New Year's Eve, I'm not doing anything. I've thought about just opening it up and seeing if you guys want to hang out. I don't know how many people are going to be available. I don't know.
That might be cool.
Maybe we should do a fireworks show that night.
Oh,
There you go.
that sounds like fun.
Maybe I'll live stream it. I don't know. But yeah, we'll figure something out. I don't know. We'll leave that. We'll talk about that next week. We'll talk about that next week as far as the 31st goes. But we are here next week on the 17th. We are not here on the 24th, and we will discuss the 31st as it gets a little bit closer. But yeah, man, you believe we're almost to Christmas. I mean, it's
hard to believe.
It seems like it's coming fast, and with COVID and inflation and everything else, I don't think we're all going to get radios in our stockings this year. I would like to think maybe, but no. But anyway,
well, they're probably all out of stock anyway. They're all sitting on ships off the coast of California.
Yeah, or the chip shortage because of this and this shortage because of that and everything else. So regardless,
well, we could cut one out of a piece of cardboard.
There you go. I'll be honest with you guys. I've been having a lot of fun. I read some stuff putting together tonight's show. I do a lot of reading to put together, and the portion of the show I'm doing tonight is later on. And I was researching this, and one of the guys was making suggestions for new hams, and the suggestion he made was, don't buy used radios. You're just buying somebody else's problem. I'm like, that is a rich guy right there, is what that is.
Because that's the worst advice I've heard in a while.
I'm like, you should start on an old radio. Look, you don't buy a $300 bicycle and put training wheels on it. I mean, you get some old piece of crap that you can learn how to ride a bike on.
That's just
same thing with a radio.
Driving a Ferrari or a Porsche.
God bless. I haven't damaged either one of my HF rigs yet. I did get magic smoke out of a bunch of Chinese mobiles, but that's a whole different story. Or would that be Chinese smoke out of magic? Anyway, yeah. So anyway, the point is
smoke is all right with me.
I'm very happy with buying used radios, using used radios. So I just wanted to put that out there. This person was actually like telling people, don't buy used radios. You're just buying somebody else's problem. And I'm like, no, I'm a radio guy buying something I want to work on.
Yeah, most of my radios are all used, and they don't have any problems. Radios don't really lose their value or develop serious issues over time.
No.
I mean, any mechanical failures will, if you get something that's really, really old, that might have a problem, but it's not like buying a used car or something else. It's
even a used computer.
Used computers are usually fine too.
They age better than cars. They definitely age better than motorhomes and boats.
Oh yeah.
Motorhomes and
Better
boats.
than people, for that matter.
A boat ages on the way home from the dealership.
Yeah.
But
Cars age on the way out of the lot.
I'm going to
Yeah,
say,
they do.
as you drive out the lot, a car ages,
Yeah.
loses about $8,000, doesn't it? Just
About right.
Now I'm
driving
going
it
to
off the
tell you,
lot.
they do
Wait,
lose.
why are we red alert?
Where? Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's just a graphic.
Danger,
Yes,
Will
we're at
Robinson.
red alert because we're on the air, brother. All right, we're broadcasting worldwide.
Statewide.
Thank God for the internet because I don't have a tower big enough for worldwide. But yeah. But anyway, yeah. So what I want to do tonight, we're going to do two. We might as well just get right into this. But what I was going to say to finish that point, right over here, I got a $20 Alinco. I bought this 20 years old. Works wonderful. I love it. I got a 15-year-old 25 Yazoo 2500 here and another one out in the car. They're both 16 years old. They're mil spec. Great radios. $20, $20. There's no reason to go spend a lot of money. Portable radios, buy Chinese, buy new. When they get all messed up or you drop them off the boat, you don't cry. For mobiles, I suggest tailgates. $20 mobiles. Buy them, fix them up, put new backlights in them, buy a new mic. There's a strop tomorrow. And we're going to get to all that later too. So that's just my suggestion on that. Okay, let's get into this tonight. We're going to start. I'm going to let you know, I've had a rough week and so is Joseph, but we're going to stick it out here as long as we can tonight. I think we got a couple of hours in us. That's a non-COVID cough, by the way. You're supposed to qualify that now. That is a non-COVID cough. It's non-COVID.
Okay, good.
Anyway,
I was worried.
It's non-COVID. Got to say that just like that. Anyway,
Yeah, we'll be all right if we wash our hands, though, won't we?
Yeah, that's fine. Well, don't lick the screen. That would be the main thing. I would definitely would advise against licking the screen in any way.
Make sure you put on a mask made of chain link fence. That'll keep
you go. Well, I hope you guys all wore your masks when you ate your turkey. That's all I got to say. Okay, let's just move on because I don't want to get in all that. So, because I'm so sick of talking about all that stuff.
I bet.
Okay, tonight we're going to talk about propagation beacons, which are a great way to test the water out there to see how you're able to receive stations from around the world. In just a few minutes, you can really see what's going on. And we're going to talk about two different beacon methods, one that he uses and one that I found, and we're going to go through all that here in just a few minutes. Then after that, I'm going to go through the top 15. It was supposed to be the top 25, but I ran out of time. Top 15, go behind the curtain there. Top 15 things that you should do when you become a ham radio operator. And I'm hoping that some of you older guys can help some of the newer guys in here tonight. We had 3 or 4 new guys in here last week, some KOs and KMs and some newer guys. And I'd like to help you guys out with a little bit of information. And then I'm going to go back and we'll repackage this for a little short that we'll do later. But I want to show you guys what I would suggest would be the first 15 things I would do for a new ham. So we're going to do that right after propagation beacons. Then after that, we're going to go through the news and all that stuff. We're going to do open lines. We're going to see if anybody else has a topic that they have that they want to go over. And then we'll end it out there and I'll pass out. And that's kind of how we're going to do the order of things tonight. I had a new paid program this week, and when you have a new client in and to record, I had a brand new client in that had never recorded shows before, so it's been a rough week. I mean, it's lots of editing, lots of working with the client to get that first show just right, and so I'm very tired too, Joseph. I feel you. I get it. So there you go. All right. Let's see. Joseph, do you want to take it away with what you got there, or do you want me to start with the slideshow I got here, or what do you want to do?
You can do the slideshow and I'll talk.
Okay, let's do that. I've only got you added a few too, so let's go through what we got here. I think it starts out with the beacons that I showed you on the website there, which we can show that website too if you want at some point.
Yeah, there wasn't that much information about beacons. They're kind of a simple concept. But I did find some information about them, and I'm gonna set one up here soon. So I do have a little bit to talk about with these things. So should be fun. I'd yeah. Should
All
be
right,
fun.
here, there we go. There we go. That's what we're going to do. I just went through all that. Let's go to the next one here. Next slide. There we go. I think therefore I had. Okay, propagation. Here we go.
Yeah, so radio propagation beacon, they set these up, and it's mainly for testing out what the atmosphere is doing. They have them on pretty much every single band, so you can go to whatever band that you want to figure out how well it's working. And like that website we looked at earlier, if you can tell which parts of the world signals are coming in from, sort of like that APRS website where you can see the red lines and everything where there's propagation. This is kind of a way to do that for HF, and so you can kind of get a feel for where stuff is coming in. And you can see here that there's actually a international beacon project, this whole thing that people set up, which is really cool. 24 hours a day, there are these beacons sending out transmissions at different power levels. They start out at 100 watts, then they send in degrading power. They go down to 10 watts, then 1 watt, then 100 milliwatts, and then the beacon, each station actually changes frequency and goes on to the next band and does the same thing over again. And you can see in the little map there, they're all over the world, and it's actually pretty cool. There's a KH6RS is out there in the middle of the ocean. That's pretty cool. ZL6B is also kind of out there in the ocean. We only have
Hawaii, or that might be Hawaii.
I think that is Hawaii.
It might be, yeah.
Yeah, that looks like Hawaii.
Which is definitely out in the middle of the ocean. You
Yeah.
don't get any more out in the middle of the ocean than Hawaii.
Yeah. I just noticed that we only have looks like one beacon in America, and that's over in New York.
On this particular system.
That's right. On this IARU International Beacon thing, we only have one. It's in New York. And then there's one in Canada, it looks like, and one all the way up in what is that, North Pole? That's pretty cool.
Here's your website, guys, right here.
Santa Claus.
Yeah, there you go. There's the website. ncdxf.org/beacon. That's pretty cool. But these are just the ones that have been set up for by like professionals, like being set up purposely for this. There's a ton more of these by just regular amateurs who want their own beacon. I pretty much talked about this. Yeah, so they're on 14.100 and then 18.110 and then 21.150 and then 24.930. And then the other one is on, I think that's 10 meter, 28.200 megahertz.
Yeah.
A lot of beacons are on 10 meter. Apparently 10 meters like the big beacon area for some reason from a couple of places I've read. There's quite a few beacons on 10 meters.
Well, if 10's working, the atmosphere is helping. I know that for a fact. Because 10 can be dead as hell for weeks.
Oh yeah. Same for 11 meter. Yeah, it's exactly.
But I hear from folks 10 can be a really fun band. So
they call it the magic band, don't they?
I can't wait. Yeah, it's 6 mostly, but 10 also. Yeah.
6 and 10. I heard 10 a while ago.
10 has a lot of the same propagation characteristics as 6, and it also does the magic band thing. So,
I see.
And this particular one here, this particular beacon network, the one we're talking about right now, started back in '79. It's actually been around for a while. But you guys understand what he's saying? It actually, when it goes each time it's beeping whatever it's saying, it beeps it at less wattage, less wattage, less wattage, less wattage. So you're listening to this thing and it's going and you can tell how much of that signal is getting through. If all you hear is then you know it's getting to use 100 watts. That's it. It's got to be all the way up to get to you. So I think that's pretty cool. It's not just giving you, can you hear it or not, but it's giving you, can you hear us or not, at 4 different wattages each time around, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. And smart too. This is really interesting. I'm glad people have done this. It's really awesome.
you want to run through your slides, your 2 slides here, and then I'll go back and show them the website, or do you want to do the website first?
We'll go through this first, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've been wanting to set one of these up recently. The new house we're moving into actually is ideal for my amateur radio things that I want to do. I have a perfect place to mount antennas where they're shielded from the street so the HOA can't complain. So I'm really excited. I'm going to have a bunch of stuff. And one of the things I decided I wanted to set up was a beacon. Now, I am kind of weird. I really like the WWV time station. I just like the noise it makes. Most people would probably think I'm weird for that, but I just will listen to it for hours sometimes. And I'm like, hey, beacons have hardly any rules. The only real regulation is that you can't go over 100 watts. You don't have to have a set transmission schedule. You could do 100% duty cycle if you want, where it's always transmitting, or you can do a Morse code thing like most of them do. Most of them just do Morse code ID and then several long dashes for a minute or whatever, and then they ID again. And you can even put these on a directional antenna, which I was kind of surprised to hear. But yeah, you can do whatever you want as long as you're within the allocation, which I have on the next page. You can do pretty much whatever you want. So what I'm going to do here, once I get moved in, is I'm going to put up an antenna, just an omnidirectional 2-meter antenna, because I've always wanted to be able to receive the time station on my handheld. And, I looked into doing that a while ago. I was like, is there any legal way I can retransmit this thing, at least for short range? And there's not really any legal way to have a broadcast besides a beacon. So my plan is, and this is going to kind of segue into this little website that I found here that I think is really cool. Let me share my screen here. I'm going to set up my own time station essentially, on 2 meters. And I found this website during my research. I was trying to figure out, the legalities around retransmitting a radio station, and you cannot rebroadcast WWV, even a recording of it, without leaving the entire transmission intact, which means it would say, this is radio station WWV, which would be incorrect. It would actually be the KM4OVZ station. But all of that can be avoided by using this, which I just can't believe this exists. It's a WWV sound simulator. Someone actually made this. When you hit play, I don't know if y'all can hear it, but it's
coordinated universal time.
It's literally the WWV station.
Oh, that's so cool.
Just recreated using I think it's using JavaScript. So it's got the time here, and you can choose whether you want WWV or WWH, because they actually use 2 different voices. But all I have to do is just pipe this audio into a transmitter, and I have my own little time station, and it doesn't have the ID in it. The only thing that would relate it to the actual time station is that it sounds similar. It's not 100% the same. There are minute differences, but so it's all legal because this is not copyrighted. This is just tones and clicks, encoded into a following the specifications put out by the station. So I can send this, and I actually have it downloaded too. They provided the website, and I have it saved to the computer so I can host it locally. But that's what I'm going to do is make myself a little time station, and then I'm going to have it so that every minute it'll interject with my call sign in Morse code. Pretty easy to do. I'll probably have it running on a Raspberry Pi or something. The only troubling thing, and that's another topic I have on one of these other slides, is getting a transmitter that can do 100% duty cycle. But I have a plan for that as well. My plan is go ahead.
You're probably going to have to buy something that's designed for that.
The problem is
the radios we have, even if you cool them properly, they're not designed for that.
You're correct.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is you'd buy a regular radio and you crank the power way back.
Yep. The plan right now is to take because I can run this thing. The antenna will be nice and high off the ground. And I'm only trying to receive it in a relatively local area. So what I'm just going to do is set this up probably with a Baofeng or another radio. I have a couple other radios here that I don't use very much. And I'm going to take the Baofeng apart, and I'm going to put a heat sink right on the final. Like I'm going to put a little miniature heat sink like right on the final. And then I'm going to have like a couple fans blowing across it. And it's literally going to be cooled to the maximum. And then I'm just going to have that on lowest power setting, which is like 500 milliwatts or whatever. And that I think that would probably be able to handle constant
Put it in the
transmission.
refrigerator.
There you go. Yeah, put it in the fridge. I need a little mini fridge in my room to put all my hot equipment in.
That's a good idea.
It would make the room hot, though. You'd be surprised just how hot a room gets with this computer I have in here. It gets really hot. But yeah, you got a cool. You could use another, and you can use like a mobile radio, like the Yaesu 8900 or something. You can use a radio like that. You just have to put the power way down, and then get some extra fans blowing across it, and you should be able to get 100% duty cycle without too much of a problem. There's no mechanical limitation. The only limitation is heat dissipation. That's the only limitation with having a high duty cycle radio. I wanted to get just a simple transmitter, but they don't really make them for amateurs. You'd have to buy like a repeater, and those are really expensive, and it would be kind of overkill for this. But that's what my solution's going to be, I guess. If we have the slide, if we can you bring the slideshow back up? I have
Yep, I got it.
I think I have 2 more slides.
Are you going to do it FM or SSB?
I'm going to do it FM because that's the only thing my handheld can receive. And it's kind of funny. I did a test today, and the signal looks almost identical.
Too bad you can't identify as WWV FM.
That'd be cool. I have to get my own special vanity call.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So the frequency allocations, going back to normal operations, besides my endeavors here, 220 meters, which is like almost, I think it's like a few kilometers.
2,200 meters?
Nah, it can't be kilometers. 2,200 meters is one of the ham bands.
2.2K.
Yeah, 2.2 kilometers.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a long, you have to make a really big antenna for that.
Yeah, that's a big ass
Oh
antenna.
yeah.
So yeah, here I have all the allocations. You can see
Yeah,
the
that's
220.
0.135 megahertz, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
135 kilohertz. So each beacon allocation is pretty small. You can see this is only, what is that? 10 kilohertz?
Boy, a half wave on that would still go all the way up to the store.
Yeah, it would.
WWVB site. It'd show you how to do that.
Yeah, they're on 60 kilohertz. They've got a really big, they got a whole field. Yeah. So yeah, 2.2 kilometer band, 135 kilohertz, 135.7 kilohertz actually, and it goes up to 137.8. 1,700 meters here is at 160 to 190 kilohertz. It's usually a pretty small allocation for beacons, but that's not really surprising considering that in any given area there aren't really that many. So it's not like you're competing for band space. That's another reason why I'm wanting to put this up, because in my area there's no beacons, no 2-meter beacons. So it's not like I'm stealing valuable bandwidth from somebody. And if we don't use it, we lose it. So got to keep that in mind. People ask me like, what's the point of your beacon? Well, I'm keeping the band open for you. You're welcome. We got on 10 meters here, 28 megahertz to 28.2. 6 meters is 50 to 50.080. And then 4 meters, which is interesting. 4 meters is one of those bands no one ever uses, 70 megahertz. It's actually popular in Britain, I think, in the UK.
That's
Yeah,
legal
most of Europe now. It is a popular band.
Yeah.
Is it not allowed here?
No, it's
No,
not.
no, it's not allowed.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
No, those channel Nazis in DC won't let us use it.
Well, we have 220.
Just kidding, guys. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's interesting. Radio waves are interesting. How they have to be regulated because there's a limited amount of it. I think we're lucky to have anything at all at this day and age.
I actually agree with you, to be honest.
We're very lucky to
like,
have as much
I
as
don't
we
say
do.
it very loud, but I actually agree with you.
Yeah, we kind of pioneered a lot of the radio stuff, but now we're kind of obsolete. And yeah, we're pretty lucky to have what we have. 2 meters, 144.275 to 144.300. We got about 15 kilohertz in there. I think an FM carrier is what, 12 kilohertz? How much is an FM carrier?
12.5.
12.5 kilohertz. There you go. So I got to check actually and make sure I'm not stepping on anybody when I set this thing up.
Well, you can use narrow FM, which is only 8.
I could use narrow FM. That's a
Look at
good
that.
idea. That would be better. I'll look into that. I just don't know if it's gonna sound worse. It probably won't sound as good.
Well,
But then
it
again,
won't
that
sound as good. It may not even. It may not. I don't know if it'll affect your range though as well.
hmm,
I mean,
it might actually make it better. Because if you're concentrating, I don't know, you're turning down the power anyway. Maybe it won't.
You're over my pay grade.
70 centimeters. We have 432.300 to 432.400. So we actually have 100 kilohertz there. It's a little bit more. And then I didn't put this in here because there's like 30 more allocations, but microwave up in like 900 megahertz, 800 megahertz, 1.2 gigahertz, all the way up there, and all the different gigahertz bands that we have available to us. We have beacon allocations. So you could, if you want to set up a 5 gigahertz beacon that only 2 people in the entirety of America will be able to receive, go for it. That'd probably be difficult. You have to build all your equipment, I think, from scratch if you're going to do something way up there. But it's possible. We have the permission to do it.
I want to mention there's also allocations in just about every other ham band too. There's 80, 40, 30, 20. They're all the way through there too.
30 is a favorite place to put beacons up on the top of the band. 10150 just below there.
To check that out. Yeah, I wish I had put more in here, but it was getting kind of full. So
can you guys hear my FT8? You guys can't hear that, right?
No, I
we
don't
can't
hear anything except your voice.
I don't normally play FT8 while I'm on the show, but he was talking and the Cape Verde Islands popped up, so I was trying to. I can't help it. It's an addiction, man.
And to say the FTA rehab
about propagation, Cape Verde Island.
Oh man, this guy loves his FT8, man. That's all I got.
And we're going to talk about it in just a little while. One of the guys that created it just passed away, Silent P. So I'll be discussing that in a little while. But
yeah, how about that? Why don't you set up an FT8 beacon?
We could do that, I guess.
There is a mode in FT8 called Whisper that I haven't messed with.
Oh yeah, we got to do Whisper.
Yeah, you're gonna do that. Yeah,
Whisper. Cool. I've heard amazing things about Whisper. It's like FT8. It's like, how voice compared to FT8, FT8 does way better, but like Whisper compared to FT8, Whisper, you can transmit using a wet noodle and it'll get all the way over to Europe.
Oh yeah.
Some guys actually did that.
No, I'm not doing what you say. Go out.
There's some guys that handmade a big old long piece of pasta and loaded it and talked to the guy down the street just to prove he could do it.
They had to use like a crazy amount of power though, so it was still kind of a fail.
No, you don't. We, oh golly, this is 30 years ago, but we actually made a dipole out of a wet piece of string on 6 meters, and it worked really well. No problem. It was keeping it wet was a problem.
Well, that was their problem with this noodle too, I guess, was keeping it wet.
It's a new idea for stealth antennas and homeowner association.
There you go.
Noodle. Yeah, they used noodle. And it had to lay on the driveway.
The neatest one I saw was they took two cars and they backed them up to each other and they hooked the antenna wire to the 2 trailer hitches.
We called it a thick dipole.
And it was a thick dipole. I bet it had a great bandwidth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 2 meter Cadillac. But anyway. Come on, that was funny. All right, anyway, you guys.
This is the strange antenna challenge.
Yep. Somebody used 2 tanks as well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done some crazy stuff.
Hold on, guys, I'll be right back.
Uh-oh. I got it. I can't switch the slide forward.
All right. Yeah, here, I'll switch the slide for you.
I already talked about that. Man. Gotta modify my handheld to put out 24/7 power.
AM broadcast transmitter, which is no longer in use.
Yeah, I could do that. Although the goal is to get it on the handheld. There's only like one handheld. I think it's a Yaesu that actually, or maybe it's a Kenwood. I'm not sure. But I was watching a video about it the other day. It's an older radio. It's not made anymore, but it actually can tune the whole HF band. It's like it's a wideband receiver inside a normal handheld, and it can listen to single sideband, Morse code, upper sideband, AM. It can do all of that, and I really want one because you can having a portable HF receiver. You don't find those very often unless you buy like an actual shortwave receiver. It would be cool to be able to.
It's the Yaesu FT6.
Yaesu FT6.
Are they still making those?
Yeah, I think it's 6 alpha. I had one and I sold it to a guy, but it did tune in HF as well as 2 meters and 70 centimeters.
Was it the VX6R?
No, it wasn't the VX. It was the FT.
FT6?
Yeah, you keep talking. I'll go to my file cabinet and pull up a copy of the manual.
I can't find any reference to it online. I just see VX6R. I don't see any. Oh wait, no, there's just a VX6. I don't see any.
Yeah,
I think that's what you're thinking of. I think you're thinking of the VX6 because it says here it has a wideband reception.
Could have had a VX.
I think it was a VX.
Yeah.
Because I think it. Yeah, it can monitor down to 504 kilohertz to 1 gigahertz.
Wow.
And it has an internal ferret rod antenna. So it doesn't actually use the HT antenna, but you can switch it to use the handheld antenna.
Okay, I owe you guys an apology. It's the Kenwood THF6 alpha.
Oh, TH6 alpha. Oh yeah, that's what looks like what Steve Clayton carries around. They're very similar. Oh yeah, I can go down to 10. Wow, I wish they made more radios with this. I can't wait till they make like a software-defined radio handheld that can actually put out like 5 watts and that can just scan everything. Because right now, if you want to do that, you have to use like an RTL SDR and an Android phone, or you have to get a hack RF with a PortaPack or something. They should really make a software-defined handheld or something. I'd pay a lot of money for that.
Well, now ICOM makes a handheld HF receiver, but it's not a transmitter.
Yeah.
See, I gotta have transmit. Like something that I can use as a normal handheld every day, and then if I just happen to want to, I could flip over to the HF bands and listen. Because there's other stuff to listen to beside actual HF things. There's transponders and sort of like the 433 ISM band. There's similar things on 13 megahertz. And stuff. There is stuff to listen to down there that's not like doesn't need a giant antenna. Man, I wonder what happened to Ian.
No, I'm still here actually. I'm checking out. My wife just came to let me know that there's severe weather warnings going all up in Arkansas and Missouri.
Whoa. Oh yeah, we're supposed to be getting storms too, rolling through here.
Yeah, and right now there's a tornado. I believe we see.
I need to watch. I think.
We've got a warning now. We might have one on the ground north of Little Rock, moving northeast.
Wow, up by Madisonville.
You must be in Huntsville.
I am, yeah.
Welcome to Tornado Alley.
I know. We joke about our house. We joke about our backyard facing east west, so we can see the tornadoes coming.
There you go.
Yeah, we purposely are not going to move into anywhere that's actually in Tornado Alley. We're staying away from there. But yeah, we do get tornadoes down here.
Oh yeah, look at all that lightning.
Yeah, this is a mess up here too, but the worst of it's right here, just north of Little Rock.
Far from Little Rock, yeah.
I'll put the overlay. Okay, it looks like the warning's back to a watch.
No, you're looking at something else.
There's a warning there.
Yeah, that's a warning.
Kitty, if you get on the keyboard, Kitty, it messes it up for everybody. Look at that.
Yeah, it's not too far from Joplin, Missouri, some of that stuff.
Yeah, a bunch of it just went through Joplin.
Oh.
You reset the screen, Kitty.
They've certainly seen enough there. Oh yeah, there you go.
St. Louis is about to get spanked as well. A little spankage.
Atlanta may see a little of this stuff.
Yeah, it'll come through there eventually. There's a strong rotation indicated by Doppler radar right there, just north of St. Louis.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I was just letting you guys know, I don't want to take a lot of time with this. This is not a breaking weather news show for St. Louis, Missouri, and Arkansas area. But I just figured I would let you guys know what's going on out there. This has been a Southwest Florida Tech alert.
Anybody that's up in that area.
I'm going to get that breaking news sounder. And I'll have Joseph say into a mic, "This is breaking news."
You know, you need the Weather Channel severe weather theme that they play.
Yeah, as I call it, the war music.
Every
All they
time
do, they don't do it like they used to. The Weather Channel sucks. They used to be great. There was a time when the Weather Channel was this amazing, amazing thing. And it would be fun. Like when Charlie was coming, they went into storm alert mode and all the graphics changed to red. They went wall to wall, screw the commercials, and they stayed with us all night long. And it was like, oh man, they were on, we had them on all the TVs. We had Weather Channel, and they had great coverage. They were on there with us all night long. Jim Cantori standing out in the weather for us. Thank you, Jim. And all that. And guess what? Now they had that category, whatever it was up there that hit category 4 that hit to the left of New Orleans. And 8 hours before it makes landfall, they go to ice road truckers for 4 hours. Screw storm alert mode.
Yeah.
Whatever.
If you want to hear about the hurricane,
it's a lot cheaper to play a rerun of ice road truckers.
If you want to hear about the hurricane, you got to go back the old-fashioned way and turn on WWL in New Orleans.
Well, you know what the response is? Several other people have put up weather channels now.
Yeah.
My parent company, good. Fox, in matter of fact, that I work for the local channel, but the parent company of Fox just put a national weather channel up. And I haven't even looked at it yet, but I'm hoping it's better. I love the Weather Channel. I've loved them for years, but I've been very disappointed lately. Anyway, that's all I got there.
On a handbasket.
Joseph, where are we at? You want me to pull up that Beacon website?
Yeah, show that again.
All right, let me get back to this. All right, what this is this is the International Beacon Project. Let me get it back on the screen here. Get over here, F11. There we go. Okay, this is the International Beacon Project. And these are all for this project. Now, understand there's different beacons. Some people have one beacon like Joseph's going to do. So there's other networks of beacons. This is the one I found that I was using a little bit and playing around with earlier. This is the IARU International Beacon Project. And this basically explains in this little gray box here. Each beacon transmits once on each band every 3 minutes. And it's constantly a cycle, and I'll explain that in just a minute. A transmission consists of a call sign of the beacon sent at 22 words a minute, followed by 4 1-second dashes. The call sign and the first dash are sent at 100 watts. The remaining dashes are sent at 10 watts, 1 watt, and 100 milliwatts, like Joseph said earlier. At the end of each 10-second transmission, the beacon steps to the next higher band, and the next beacon in the sequence begins transmitting. This page updates automatically. You just pull this up and leave it on one of your screens.
You can see what's coming your way when to
Yep.
where to tune
Like,
to.
you look here, like let's say I want a certain station. If you want the YV5B station, you can go down here, you can find it, YV5B. It's right here. It's on 28.2 right now. And it's going to go silent here in just a second. There we go. It just went silent. Now we're up here. We're working these. Now watch. These are going to go down. They'll go dee 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 dee, and then they go dee 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 dee, something like that. I don't.
Yeah, and you're right.
If you can hear something like, I don't know if you can hear these, but anyway, but you can see here, boom, see how it's moving down? Yeah. This one's now on 14,100. This one's now on 18,110. So you can listen to one frequency. You listen to one frequency. And what you hear is this one at 100, at 10, at 1, at 100 kilowatts. And then immediately it's another one in another part of the world at 100, at 10, at 1. So you can literally sit there on one frequency and just listen to the beacons. And every 3 minutes, it starts over again. So in 3 minutes, you will have heard all the beacons in the world. Is that pretty cool or what?
That's awesome.
I think it's pretty cool. I can't wait to play with this, to be honest with you. I was late getting ready for this, and I haven't had a chance to play with this stuff yet. But this is some neat stuff. Notice those frequencies are working their way down. The box over here on the left changes one way dynamically, and the box on the right changes the other. So that way you can see here all the call signs and where it's at. Over here, you can see the frequencies and what call signs on that frequency. I think it's pretty cool. And if you click on it, it shows you everything about it.
Ham locator. What is this? Oh, maybe is this it's like an interactive map for the, oh, what's that? Oh yeah, look in the top right. There's a blue Yagi. Oh wait, never mind. That just moves around. I don't know what this is.
I don't know.
Maybe you search for a call sign?
It is proof that the Earth's flat, though.
Oh, no. Oh, man. Type that search box. See if you can search for a call sign.
It's also proof that the snow has not melted up at Greenland.
Your email.
You ain't get my email.
I guess you can.
I don't know what this does, dude.
That's strange.
AE3SUN.
Makes one of the things you regret that you clicked on it.
What the hell is this?
But anyway, I wish we could hear one of these. Joseph, can you tune in one of these and see if and let us hear it?
I've been trying.
What's we got? 14 gonna be your best bet.
14.100. Let's try that.
14 is going to kind of be closing down here, but then
that
again,
would be
14 can stay open all night sometimes. You never know.
Is it coming around here? We got Australia right now. Now it's Japan.
I don't know if it's...
I'm not hearing anything so far. VR, now we're coming from Hong Kong. I would like to hear one of these. What's the other frequency? 18.110?
Yeah.
South Africa.
But that's going to be harder to get.
Well, what band would be best right now?
Well, all these shut off. These are all day bands. At least in this part of the solar cycle.
I wish they had a 40-meter beacon. Oh, wait, you can listen right there. Yep.
Were you
There
guys
you
able to
go.
hear that?
Yeah, we heard that.
Yeah, I heard that.
I like that
And
because
it
you get the
fades
4
away.
wattages, you know?
Yeah,
I really like that.
try that one in the United States.
That's
Wow.
pretty cool. And
That's
if you hear
really
that,
cool.
if you hear that at 100 kilowatts, I mean, that's really good.
100 milliwatt. Yeah.
100
Be
milliwatts.
sitting right next to it.
Well, that's pretty cool. So there we go. That's what they sound
You
like.
get an idea what they sound like.
Here they come around again. I don't know why they don't have a 40 and an 80.
Yeah, they should. There is allocation for it, so they should have it.
I mean, you guys, I know
They
it's
should have it.
hard to see behind me, but you can see back here on my FT8 screen, 40 is just clogged right now. If I was over there trying to work it, I would probably go try FT4 and see if anybody's over there. I have been finding FT4 activity on 40 and on 17 as well as 20 anytime that the waterfall's really busy. Okay. Anything on beacons? Anybody have any experience with them or have used them or can talk to us about them? Probably know more about them than we do.
Mm.
And
Can't say I have.
There is a beacon network of sorts in there that you can transmit to and then hear yourself coming back.
Ooh, that's cool.
That's the reverse beacon network.
Yeah, the reverse beacon. I've never used it. Has anybody used that?
You transmit and then it picks you up. I don't know if it's strictly CW, but yeah, I've thought about using that to test my antennas. But yeah, there is such an animal.
That's pretty
really
cool. I know that I do the same thing with the web SDR.
Yep.
I'll pull up. Utah has I think it's the magenta one. Has a Yagi facing east, and I've heard I can talk and I can hear myself on that one sometimes. So I like to. I'll record. I'll feed it into my computer and record it, and then I can go in and CQ and see if anybody can hear me and see if I can hear myself. The other thing I like to do is go to WebSDR and pipe it into my FT8 on my other computer, and it will come up in red every time I see myself on that FT8 system from my regular FT8 system over here. So that's pretty cool too. So I'll pop up different web SDRs around the world and see if I can hear myself digitally, see if I'm popping up on the thing. So that's
I've done that
cool.
on voice a couple of times. Last night, I used the web SDR system to hear my friends up in Atlanta because my noise level on 75 is so bad, I can't hear them. So I listen on those receivers. There's one in Orlando and there's one in Dahlonega, Georgia, and I can use either one of those.
Have you messed with that one in Utah? Because that magenta color one in Utah works really well on 20 and 40 because
I'll have to give that
everything's
a try.
facing back this way.
Yeah.
And it seems to do. That's kind of my favorite web SDR. They've got 4 different receivers, and it seems to work very well. Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway, yeah. Anybody got anything else on propagation or beacons or any of that? Okie doke. Well, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a quick little journey through your first days as an amateur radio operator. Now, I know there's not a lot of new people in here, but that's okay. I want to go through this anyway. There is a few newer folks in here, like me. I see a couple of KO4s in here. Hello, all. Welcome, all you KM4s and KO4s. that are new like me. I admit it, I'm new too. I've been doing this 18 months and I love the hobby. Probably love it more than just about anything I've ever done, except that dirty thing my wife and I do. Anyway, can you guys see this? Is this working now? Okay, here we go. Screen. Is this thing on? Testing, testing. Okay.
No, wait, you gotta have the feedback.
Okay, if
It
this
is
is
working.
important because even if you're not, maybe you aren't the new person, but maybe you're helping someone who is. This is just going to be some really easy stuff that you can encourage other people to do. A lot of this can be found in the quick start guide that we have under the guide button right on the main website. And it's a 4-page deal and it has everything you need to know. So anyway, there we go. First thing you want to do, number one, is create a new Gmail address. I have found that there's a lot of emails associated with ham radio, and you don't want to mix that life with your other life. It just gets messy. Yeah. And so create a Gmail with your call sign. It makes it so easy for everybody to find you and reach you and get you and all that. So all
There's
you got to
also
do,
Proton Mail and a lot of other free services.
it doesn't have to be Gmail. As a matter of fact, I'm not recommending G or government mail, whatever you want to call it. I'm not recommending it, but it's what I use. It's the simplest. It works really well. There's others that work equally as well. Yeah. Number two, sign up for the Southwest Florida TechNet newsletter, which I think everybody here has probably already done. Yeah. That goes out every Friday. You guys should have all gotten yours this morning. The next thing, number three, go to QRZ and establish your page. I went to the 15 closest hams to me in my neighborhood, and out of the 15, only one of them had an email address listed in QRZ.
Oh.
And I'm like, this is just crazy. How do you even get a hold of these? I'm gonna have to paper and a stamp. I mean, how 1990? So, please go on and do QRZ. QRZ is probably my favorite website when it comes to just an overall free web service for everything, and it does a lot of different things. One of the biggest things it does is it provides you with a bio page that's actually fairly easy to edit. You don't have to be a web editor to edit it. It's fairly easy. You can figure it out. If you need help on that, I'd be glad to help you. I can edit something up real quick. But anyway, it shows your picture. It shows the awards you've won with your logbook, and I'll show you that in a minute. And you can also be an XML data subscriber for like $20 a year for the price of a cup of coffee. You can have it automatically send your records back and forth to Logbook of the World and everything. It takes care of everything for you. That's what XML subscriber means. And then your email address will show right here. And that's so important so that people can get a hold of you. So just if you haven't done it, even if you've been doing this a while and you don't want to use QRZ for anything at all, please just go and put your email address, if nothing else, so people can find you. Then the next thing, create your logbook. I think it pretty much makes you one automatically. I think you just go into it and it's like, oh, okay, here's your logbook. Log your first contact. You know what? I mean, I'm going to tell you something you can do. If you want to log a few contacts, on Thursday night, we have the Cape Coral Gab Fest. It's a simplex net. Everybody you talk to on that net, you can log down as a contact. Anytime you make a simplex contact, you can log it down. Okay, so or a contact by bouncing off the moon or through a satellite, those all count too. If it goes through the internet or through a repeater, it does not count. Okay, but you want to start your logbook. I find a lot of guys have been doing this a year now, and they haven't got the first line in their logbook. You got to start your logbook. I'm almost at 10,000. My goal is to reach 10,000 by the end of the year. And thanks to that little contest the other day, which I'll tell you guys about, was fun. There was an FT8 contest last weekend, and it was the I don't even know what it was called, but it was some contest last weekend, and it was for It was just FT8 and FT4 was all it was. And I went to the frequencies that it said to go to, and I went to WSJTX and changed it to where it sent them 599 FL instead of whatever else it normally sent. And I made 188 contacts, and I only did it for about 4 hours. So
Wow.
it was a great way to make contacts. But you know what the neatest thing was? It was a bunch of clubs and a bunch of people you don't normally see. So almost every line that came up was a bright color, and I was like just snatching people up. It was fun. So it was a great way to get a lot of contacts. And you don't even have to turn your log in if you don't want to. You know, it's no big deal. You're just doing it for contacts. I do contests for contacts. So there you go. So definitely start your logbook. You'll regret it 5 years from now when you're trying to get it going, and it's like, I could have been logging all this stuff down. It's real easy to log stuff. I'm not going to go through it tonight. That's not the purpose for tonight, but I'd be glad to do it sometime with you guys or later on if you want. The next thing, this is something a lot of you older guys that listen to me, you old fogies, I'm sorry. You know what I mean. The guys that have been around a while. For those of you who've been around a while, for those of you who I didn't just offend the crap out of, you may not have even thought about this, but there's some really good podcasts out there. There's some really, really good amateur radio podcasts. I've listened to the HRCC one. I've listened to that guy. He's good. I've listened to 3 or 4 of these. There's some. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna give you guys a little behind the curtains into my life. I have ADD. I know that probably surprises the crap out of everybody, doesn't it? I have ADD so bad that I get bored in the shower. So I listen to podcasts in the shower. That's what I do. I take my phone, I sit it next to the shower, and I put on a podcast. And I'll just search podcasts, and I'll look up Build a Yagi, or I'll look up, Build a Ham Clock, or whatever I'm doing. And I'll find a podcast that talks about what I'm wanting to do, and I'll listen to that while I'm in the shower, while I'm taking a dump, and then driving to work. And by the time I get to work, I know how to do it. So I'm just putting it out there for you guys that this is a great way to pick up knowledge and do it in time that you might have been wasting anyway. I mean, the shower is basically a waste other than you're getting clean. So I mean, let's multitask a little bit. So I like when I travel, I can't just travel in the car. I have to listen to talk radio, or I have to put on a podcast or something. They really frown upon you watching YouTube when you're driving, so I try to keep it to like a podcast or something. Because it's safer. It's so much safer that way. But anyway, so a podcast, guys, try it out. Just type in podcast. There's several podcast apps that are free that will aggregate them for you and have them available for you on your phone, or you can literally just search them out and play them right off of their own pages or whatever. But there's some really cool ones out there. All right, number 6, download, sign up for, and use Echolink. Echolink is an amazing thing. You may not even have your first radio yet. You could be talking on nets tonight. You could be talking on nets, checking in on nets. This is a really cool thing. It turns your phone into a 2-way radio. I think it's really cool. There's also, what's the other one? All-Star. There's 2 different ones. I'm not promoting one or the other. It's just this is the easier one to get started with.
Well, Echolink is the only one that you can easily just install the app on your phone or computer and start talking into repeaters. All-Star isn't really like that. Yeah, Echolink is really the only thing where you're supposed to be able to use it on a computer.
Yeah, so this is what you want to use. This is a great little program. The only thing people always get screwed up on is you don't hold it down to transmit. You tap it to start transmitting, and you tap it to end transmitting. That's the one thing everybody gets wrong on there because it's stupid the way it's set up. Okay, so there you go. Other than that, you'll do fine. Okay. Any questions so far?
It's a fungus.
All right, the next thing I recommend, number 7, buy an inexpensive radio. Do not go buy a $500 Yazoo, the one with the coffee maker in the back and all that. Don't go buy one of those fancy radios right off the bat. Buy you a Baofeng. That way, if you blow it up, screw it up, program it up, mess it up, drop it off, drop it up, mess it down, it won't matter because it's a $40 radio. It doesn't matter. If you want to go a little better, if you've got a little more money, not like me, the one on the right is the one I carry around every day with me. It is an amazing radio. There it is right there. An absolutely amazing radio. I bought this radio. Actually, the one I just showed you is my repeater radio. This is it right here. This radio, I bought this radio off of Amazon about 15 months ago, and I have carried it with me on my side or in my bag everywhere I've gone. Whether I'm camping, whether I'm at work, wherever I'm at, this radio, I got a holder for it in the van. I got a mic for it so I can talk on it while I'm going down the road. It works really great. It's that one you see on the right there, the UV8000D. I don't make a lot of recommendations on products, okay? But I make a recommendation on this particular product. If you're going to buy a Chinese radio, you can spend the extra few dollars. This one comes with the programming cable. Okay, if you buy the cheap Baofeng, that doesn't come with a programming cable, so that's $9 more or $12 more right there. So you're already halfway there. You're at 35. We're over here. We're at 80. So I mean, you're almost halfway there by the time you buy your programming cable. So I would just buy this. It has the larger battery. It can't take the extended batteries like the other one, but you don't need it. This battery lasts a long time. Here's the other thing. It's a 10-watt radio. Now, it's Chinese, so you have to use the Chinese conversion scale. So it's a 7-watt radio when it's all said and done. About 7.25 watts is what I get out of it. This is a great radio. So I suggest buying a cheap Chinese radio and having fun with it. And you can get those right off of Amazon, or you can get them from any of your amateur radio shops. Have them. Also, this one for $80 comes with the long antenna already. That saves you $12. The cable saves you $12. So you're already, like I said, you're already halfway home. Okay. Any questions on any of that? I'm sorry, I've become a professional with these Chinese radios. I've got 9 Chinese portables right now of varying kinds, different bands. I've got one that makes toast. Yeah. Okay. The next thing you need to do is download Chirp. If you have an expensive radio, a Yaesu, or a Yazoo, or if you have an ICOM or something like that, or a Kenwood, you need to check before you use this program. If you have any Chinese radio at all, this is the program you want to use. It works really well. The only piece of advice I give you on this radio, on this piece of equipment when you download it, do not ever take a code plug and blow it straight into your radio. You always download your radio first into the computer. Then save that image. First thing I do when I get a radio is I plug it in, upload it into the computer, and then I save that image as factory image and the number for that radio. So I have that factory image. So later on, if I get it screwed up, I can go back and get that factory image and blow it back in there and start from scratch. You take the thing, you download the code plug out of it, into the radio, into the computer. Now you can see what's in the radio. It comes with some stupid channels programmed into it that mean nothing. That's when you then download my program that you get from me that has all the channels already in it, and you just copy and paste. You can select the top one, hold down the shift button and select the bottom one, right click copy, right click paste, and then blow it back into the radio, and you're done. But the point is you're blowing the same image you just took out of the radio back in. You've just added channel data to it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? It's so important to understand what I'm saying right now. You can't just take my code plug program and blow it into your Baofeng. It will lock it up. It'll brick it.
Yeah.
It'll brickify it.
Yeah. It'll be useless.
Okay, so, but other than that, Chirp and Joseph and I, again, either one would be glad to help anybody with this programming software.
Yeah.
Next thing, work with SSTV. I have found this to be really fun. I leave this on all the time. I do it with the space station flies over sometimes, and they're sending out pictures. And I stand in my parking lot at work with my tablet and my radio, and I'm standing there, and my people at work are walking by going, "What are you doing?" "I'm receiving pictures from the International Space Station." They walk in and they go, "That guy is really nuts. There's something wrong with him. He's out there talking to the space station." But literally, I'm out there receiving. My tablet has the program that you see on the far left. It has the program in it. It's just an app, a free app. And then I got my radio on the VHF frequency. Yeah, my cheap $40 Baofeng. And I hold it up to the microphone, and it's going bleep, 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 bleep. And next thing, if I do that, it'll actually make a picture. You want to try it? But what'll end up happening is you'll actually see a picture start to form that's coming down from the International Space Station.
I actually had that happen one time.
Yeah, it's really cool. What, you went blah blah blah? It made a picture.
No, that would probably brick the phone.
But anyway, I love SSTV. I call it ham facts. Because that's what it is.
Facts.
It's not TV.
No.
It's facts.
Well, it's slow scan TV.
Real slow.
1 frame per few minutes.
But anyway, if you haven't tried this, try this. On Thursday nights, there's a net, and you don't even have to check in or anything. Just turn the net on, put your phone up to the radio, and while the net's going on, they'll start sending pictures back and forth over the repeater, and you'll see it. The pictures will come on your phone. You'll see it. You'll be receiving it right off the phone to the microphone in your speaker, right off the radio to the microphone in your speaker. I just think this is really cool. And it's like hams that have been doing this 10 years that have never messed with it. It's like, come on, this is so fun. Anyway, all right. Next thing, monitor ham radio when you travel. I have found that a lot of people monitor the 2-meter call channel or the 520, whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of people, you'll see these kind of bumper stickers like you see here. There's also the oval. I didn't put one on here, but there's an oval that just says 146.52. And if you see that, what it means is he's monitoring the 2-meter call channel. Give him a call. When I'm traveling, I always have my big antenna. This last time I traveled, I had the big antenna on top of my big 5/8 wave Ringo dealy do. And every time I drive by, I'd see some guy with antennas on his truck, and I get on there. KO4 EFS 2-meter call channel on frequency listening northbound 75. And they come back, yeah, KO4 EFS. I say, yeah, you're the guy with the Harleys in the trailer. Yeah, that's me. And we'll sit there and we'll BS for 20 minutes while we're going down the road. And I've made some really fun QSOs. I've sat in traffic and bitched about the traffic we're sitting in for 40 minutes too on the radio with somebody. So it's pretty fun. So don't discount your rate, especially if you have a nice mobile. Don't just turn it off once you get out of range of your repeaters. Put it on the 560 and just leave it on, or the 520 and just leave it on. And then if you get in traffic or if something's going on or you see smoke or whatever, get on there and call. You believe it or not, or if someone passes you with antennas or a 520 bumper sticker, you'll see a sticker that's round. It'll just say 520. That means
I gotta
they're monitoring.
say, I gotta say, after coming here to Huntsville, I've heard more activity on the 520 than I've heard on the local repeaters.
Yeah.
It's incredibly popular down here. You get in the car, turn it on, you'll hear people talking almost immediately. There's actually people running like amplifiers and stuff in their car with higher output power on 2-meter. You pick up that mic and call, you're guaranteed to get somebody to answer you back within a few minutes. It's pretty amazing. Coming from Fort Myers where no one's ever on there. So yeah, it's very popular in certain areas and completely dead in other areas.
I agree. When I go up to the mountains, I hear people on 520 all the time. I answer POTA calls up there a lot on 520. And it's funny because what I do is I got my big, huge antenna with my 4 magnets on top of my car. And I just got a low loss extension cable, a 25-footer that I run out the floor of the cabin. And it just runs out there and spools up. And then when I back the car in, I take it out there, run it inside the door and hook it up to the antenna inside the car. And it's got an alligator clamp that alligator clamps to the frame, so I get a good ground. And I literally use the car as my ground plane with it sitting out in the driveway of my cabin. And it works, man. 40 miles, no problem up there in the mountains. So really cool. But yeah, I don't know why the 2-meter call channel is not used around here. I don't get it either. I will say though, I scan it. And early in the morning, there is guys that'll come on and start talking about on it, but they're generally in the middle of the state, and I'm just picking them up.
Yeah. What happens if you leave it on overnight?
There's a lot of guys down in Golden Gate and Naples that use it, and they use it kind of like a DX hunting net. But usually in the morning, like you say, if you're hearing somebody in the morning, that's probably them down in Golden Gate. There's about 10 guys that get on there.
Could be that the 2 or 3 guys I've been hearing the last couple of weeks have been up around Lake Okeechobee, up in Moorhaven and up in that area. So, yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I hear different people on there at different times. I try to monitor it. I answer it. I had a QSO with a guy about 3 weeks ago. We talked for 20 minutes on there. I even stopped a couple times and asked if anybody else needed to use the frequency because we were on the call channel. But nobody ever is. Anyway. So there you go. All right, the next thing, build your first simple dipole antenna. I cannot recommend this harder. I don't care if you've been doing this 6 months or 6 decades. If you haven't built your first antenna, go cut a wire off of something that doesn't work and build your first antenna. You can literally take an old roof mount antenna or an old magnet mount or anything with an old pigtail on it and cut it off, tray it out, 2 coat hangers and a piece of wood, and you've made your first antenna.
The old coat hanger wire 2-meter ground plane.
Yep. Yeah, you can make a ground plane too. The only reason I recommend the dipole as your first antenna, not that it works better than a ground plane. I think they both have their advantages. This one just tends to be the absolute easiest freaking thing to make in the whole world.
Oh, yeah.
It's just 2 things. This is just so simple. And so I recommend everybody this weekend that hasn't made your own antenna, make one of these and call us up on one of the 2-meter channels this weekend. And let us know you're talking on your new antenna. There's a satisfaction to talking on an antenna that you built. And I'm sure that I would like to have felt what the old guys with the Heath kits 50 years ago would feel when they put the radio together and they warmed those tubes up for the first time. And feel the warmth coming off that case for the first time. I can only imagine, and getting your first QSO on a radio that you built, I can just see how exciting that would be. And even though we're not probably ever going to get that thrill, the antenna can get you halfway there. You build a really good antenna. I mean, when I built my first double Yeagis and talked to Verna at 60 miles away, I was like, yes.
Oh man, when I built was the same when I built that. Spent a week and a half making that giant Yagi, and I pointed at Miami, and I'm like, "Please work, please work, please work." And I key up, and the repeater comes back. I'm like, "Yes!" Mwah! That was awesome.
Well,
It's
that's
clicking
like,
for me.
that's like when I used my 40 meter infed half wave and talked to a guy in New Zealand on 10 meters.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. Boy, the
that was in a
ionosphere
recent
was
contest.
helping you out.
Yeah.
The next thing I would do, number 12, is buy your first SDR. And I recommend that the cheapest one right now is the RTL SDR.
Yeah,
And
well,
I again, I'm one of these people that I try not to. I had one right here. I don't know what happened to it. I try not to make a whole lot of hard recommendations. I try not to be the guy that's. I recommend this product and this product because I'm not commercial. I don't make money on any of this. But I can honestly tell you, for the cheap SDR, and this is the cheap one, you can see right there, $39. That's on Amazon. That's shipped 24 hours. That one right there, I've had over here doing aircraft now for what, Joseph? 4 months, 5 months?
Yeah, about that.
It's on every 24/7, 365. It's never turned off. It's on a battery backup. It's never hiccuped a day. I got another one over here that's scanning amateur radio channels. I've bought a third one that we're going to be using for some other stuff. I have 3 of them now. I cannot recommend this highly enough. Now, if you're buying it to listen to low band, like 40 meters, you're going to be a little disappointed. It doesn't work as well on the low band. But Joseph has a solution for that. Joseph, don't you?
Hold on, what?
An up converter?
Yeah. So,
yeah.
if you go into like Ian was saying, the dongle, if you try and tune down there, you can put it in direct sample mode, but it won't be as sensitive. So signals will just be weaker than they would with a normal shortwave receiver. So for about 50, 60 bucks, you can get a up converter, which will take your HF signals and up convert them by about 120 megahertz, which will place them in the range of the dongle's normal sampling mode. So you go into your software then and you sell it to put an offset in so that it displays, 7 megahertz or whatever when it's actually tuned to 127 megahertz. And these up converters are really good. They can go down really low. The one I have goes down to like 500 hertz, I think. It goes really, really low.
Wow.
And it goes up to, I think 6 meters is its upper limit. But the dongle can go to 6 meter by itself anyway. So there's some overlap there. But it can go really, really low. And it's fantastic. I've had one of these. I've been running it up here for about 2 years now, and it's never let me down. It whenever you switch between the two to actually see if there's a difference, there is a remarkable difference. Those dongles they're usable on by themselves, but the up converter really just makes it worth your time. So yeah, they're great. They're about 60 bucks. New Elec makes them. They're called Hammett up converters. And they have like a pass through mode as well, where you can flip a switch and it'll pass through without up converting if you want to do that. So yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, so basically this thing takes the signal and moves it up into an area where this thing does really well. So for under $100, you can have you a really nice receiver system. I strongly recommend this. You can use this for anything. Let's say you've got an old computer hanging around that you're not using. You can throw this in there. There's a scanner program you can put in there, and it will sit there and scan frequencies like a scanner. You can get, let me tell you something that's really cool. You can get 2 of these, and you can scan the Lee County's 900 megahertz trunking system. One monitors the control channel, and one actually goes and grabs the digital sound, and converts it. What a really cool thing. These things can do everything. They can receive any kind of signal. You can receive SSTV on these, and your computer can show you the pictures that are coming in. So whatever you want to listen to, whatever you want to do, you can receive FT8 on this and actually feed it into your computer using the virtual cable and actually sit there and watch it decode. You could take this and listen to CW, feed it into a CW decoding program, and actually let it sit there and decode CW for you. So this is a really cool thing, especially for new hams that don't have their first big rig yet. This gives you the ability to go out and start monitoring some more stuff. But when you do get this, there's one thing you have to do. You have to hit this little gear, and you have to turn up the gain or whatever. What is it? Whatever.
Probably the RF gain.
Yeah, the RF gain. You want to go in there and turn that up. You don't do that.
Otherwise, you'll think you'll have a dead receiver. I remember.
Yeah, because I bought, when I first bought it, I threw it in a drawer and thought it was crap. And then Joseph goes, "Well, you did turn that thing up, right?" I'm like, "What thing?" I literally dug it out of a drawer and gave it to him. I'm like, "Here, this is broke. See if you can get it working." He goes, "There's nothing wrong with this. You just had to turn the thing up."
Yeah, it shouldn't be the default 0. 0 should not be the default.
That's kind of dumb.
All right, so the next thing you can do, number 13, get involved with radio nets. I'm surprised at how few people do radio nets. There is thousands of ham radio operators in this area. Thousands.
Yeah.
And there'll be 5 of us to check in on the net. I'm just very surprised. I didn't want to run through all of them, but I just wanted to give you guys a few of the good ones. This is the real good ones. These are the ones I recommend for newer hams. The Cape Coral Gab Fest here, that's a simplex net. That's that one I told you about. It's a great way to test your radios and stuff. Charles, KI4GED is a net controller on that. It's a great net. But all of these nets are great nets. So I just wanted to put that out there. Get involved on the radio nets. It makes a big difference, and it gives us all somebody to talk to. I try to make as many of these each week as I can. I made Buck and a Quarter this week, and I made the Cape Coral Gap Fest, and I made the Newbie Net. So, and I made the Loggerhead, I think, this week too. So I did, I think, 4 out of 6 this week. All right, number 14, call out on repeaters. This is something I suggest. There is some guy that keeps coming on, and he comes on and he goes ba 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 WW1 WW WW1 WW. And every time he does that, I look up and I can't see what channel he's on because my radio's scanning. So I never answer him. But I hear him every day, like 3 or 4 times. And I'm like, well, I wish I knew what channel he was on. So what I recommend, and I'm a new ham, but what I recommend is KO4 EFS on frequency listening, 685. Let me give you another hint that I do. I kerchunk the repeater first. Kerchunk. Beep 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 beep. Then I key up KO4 EFS on frequency listening on the 685. That way it gives you plenty of time to lock in your scanner. We got all this beeping going on, and I'm talking for a while. That's how you get people to talk to you. If you're just calling out just your call sign, it's hard for some of us that use scanning equipment to find you. So just a suggestion. And remember, there is people in Lee County that are radio Karens, and they actually run egg timers and stopwatches on us on the radios, and they make us stink if we don't do what we're supposed to do. So
Radio Nazi.
Radio Nazis, whatever you want to call them, frequency Karens, radio Nazis. They go to the same academy as the HOA bastards. So anyway, and then number 15, buy you a mobile radio antenna. They're cheap, but here's the thing: you can buy one of these, like this one right here. Baofeng makes one of these for $10. Comes with a little SMA on it. It's crap. It's worthless. you're better off with the factory radio that came on your radio. So I suggest that you spend $25 or $30 on your magnet mount. Don't buy a $10 magnet mount. I suggest picking one up in a ham swap or picking one up. Spend $40, get you a decent magnet mount for 2 meter or for the 2 bands you're wanting to use or whatever. But don't buy a $10 antenna, because you will get a $10 antenna. I'm telling you.
Get what you pay for.
You do. And glass mount. Jury's out. I have been told for years that glass mount antennas work just as good as any other antenna you're ever going to find. And I've always thought those people were probably smoking crack.
Yeah.
There's no way that something that has no physical contact can work just as good as something that does have physical contact. That being said, I've been told by a lot of people that these things work pretty well. So I'm just putting that out there. Glass mount is an option. I
They
don't
work
use them.
okay. Let's put it that way, but they're not.
Yeah. I just want to be honest. I don't think they're that good. I've been told they're great. I don't think they're that good. I think they're an option.
Yeah.
I don't think they're a great one, but I think they're definitely an option. If the wife won't let you drill holes and you can't do the trunk lid thing, there's all kinds of places you can put antennas. I bought this big, huge 4-magnet thing that goes on my roof, and then I can screw whatever antenna I want on it. All right, so that's about that. Does anybody have anything else they would like to add to any of that? All right. The next thing. Let's see here. How do I want to do this? A lot of this mode here. Yeah, one of the next things I want to do. We'll go through the newsletter real quick and go through the news and stuff. There's just a few things in there I wanted to mention. But before we do that, I'd like to open it up. Friday night open lines. Anybody that's having any problems or would like some help or would like to discuss something that's going on, as long as it's not political, religious, or borrowing money. If anybody has anything we can help you with, come now.
I would like to add to your list, and I would say throw all the warts away. There's an awful lot of people. Somebody came round to my shack yesterday and said, well, why is your pan adapter so clean? And I realised that I've just disconnected. If I charge, I don't know, probably a lot of you have got handy talkies. They're plugged in, the wart's plugged in, and then you say, oh, I got noise. What I do is I got all my warts plugged into an extension bar, and I plug it in when I go to bed. So everything stays charged up, but it's not on when I'm on the radio. The other thing is, really check your shack, your house for noise, because you can double the performance of your radios, if not quadruple the performance of your radios, if you get rid of the crap. I doubled mine by just taking the warts away from 2 monitors, and the monitors run off 12 volts, so I run them off of a clean power supply. So for someone beginning, if you want to dig out those little quiet signals, get rid of all the crap warts. I don't know of one, even the Yaesu one I've got and an Icon one. No, Yaesu and a Kenwood one. They both make noise.
Isn't that terrible? And that's definitely good advice. I know I have several wall warts that I found were making noise. What I'm trying to do right now, I'm actually in the process of, I found that about half my wall warts are 12 volts direct current. So what I'm doing is I'm slowly adding those all to one long, I'm putting in basically a fuse bar, and I'm putting in lines, and I'm eventually going to run everything off one power supply. And I want to run, and I'm even considering stepping power up and down as I need to eventually eliminate all of my wall warts, and eliminate all of that and put it all on one big power supply. And then I want to take that power supply and put it somewhere else, like in the next room or somewhere, or under way out in the shed, out on the other shed.
Well,
And
the analog
and
power supplies are fine.
Yeah.
It's the
yeah,
switchers, it's the switch mode power supplies that the ones. I mean, I've got
it is
quite a
true.
good one.
I don't get any crap off of my two radio power supplies, my
No,
nice power supply. Yeah, you're right. I don't really get anything off of them.
yeah, I mean, definitely. Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I've just bought a 90 amp analog power supply. It's a used one. I'm replacing the caps on it. It's a 19-inch rack. It weighs about 5,000 pounds. But I'm gradually converting everything. But honestly, the quick thing for me was just unplugging the stuff. You have this one sitting on your desk, and it's sitting inside of the charging unit, and you leave it there, and you don't realize it may be imperceivable, even the noise, but you have 10 units generating that little bit of imperceivable noise, and then you've got some serious noise. The other thing is I disconnect everything in the house. If it's got a red light on it, like the printers, I only switch them on to use, because they're Wi-Fi, they make a noise. My worst absolute thing for making a noise in the shack was my wireless air conditioning controller.
Wow.
That thing would throw out spikes when it talked back and forth. It was unbelievable. I got rid of it all. It was a great device. You could talk to it. You could set your heat or your air, when you're in Mexico or somewhere. You could check your heat on your house, on your phone and everything. But my God, was that thing noisy. Really was. And by doing all that and putting a decent ground in, I quadrupled the performance of my station, because signal to noise is the most important. If you can't hear them, you can't work them.
That's right.
You do it.
And I find that just about anybody I can hear, I can work, and that's because I think I'm transmitting out a little better than I'm receiving.
Yeah, I think I am as well, except for the vertical. I've got a vertical, and that doesn't transmit as well as it receives. But
yeah, that could be like a takeoff angle thing or something.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because I haven't got many ground radios. So, that's going to change in the next... well, I'm seriously thinking of getting a hex beam, so...
I want a hex beam
But one of the portable ones, one of the Buddy Hex that I can put up, because I live in an HOA, so I can put it up, take it down.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my 2 cents worth.
Hex beam.
I want one that goes all the way up to 40, but I'm gonna have to have a chopper bring it in and sit it in place.
Yeah, you have to hire a crane.
One of those choppers that puts the antennas on the TV stations to do that.
I know. Oh, all right. Anyway, yeah. Let's see here. Oh, Tampa Bay Hamfest is tomorrow.
Yeah.
It was today and tomorrow, so I'm just letting you guys know it's right there. And I was sent a notice. The Hamfest, the PRRA Hamfest in Punta Gorda, is coming up on. They now have one scheduled there in Punta Gorda on March 5th. And that's not that far for us. It's just east of the interstate up there off of Kings Highway, so it's really not that far. So that one would be one that we could consider going to. Even in Fort Myers, it's not that far. Okay, space weather. There was a solar storm. It's going to miss. We're not going to get much from that. We might see a small rise in flare activity, or in geomagnetic activity, but I don't think it's going to be that much. The comet's going by, and it's going to be making its closest pass. What are you doing, Cat? It's going to be making its closest pass coming up, and in 2 days, making its closest pass. And I think this is going to be a naked eye one. You're actually going to be able to see this one if you got in a real dark sky location. So that one might be worth it. This down here, if you ever seen one of these, this is actually a plot on the visibility, the light visibility. And you can see now these latest plots are above the threshold for naked eye visibility. So right now, technically, this one's already, you can see it with the naked eye from a dark sky location, you certainly will be able to see it with binoculars. So I just thought that was really cool. I love. There's so few really cool celestial events out there that we can see with the naked eye, and this is one of them. All right, and the solar flux is really low. This was this morning, but I'll check it right now. 76. We've gone up 1 point. Big deal. But the solar, everything else is pretty much the same. And we're not seeing that much in the way of solar activity right now, at least on our side of the disk anyway. Very light aurora forecast. Terrestrial weather, I got to tell you, look at that. It's 66 every single night, pretty much. We talk about 10 days of the exact same weather. What the hell's going on?
Must be global.
It's something going on.
Looks fine to me.
Yeah, it looks like global stagnation to me.
Actually, I'm enjoying it. So.
Anyway, all right, swap shop tomorrow. Be there or don't be there.
Be there, be square.
Yeah, something new to try. This was sent to me by Alex, WA4WDV, and by Ham, and this is a really cool thing. It's called the 17-meter activity group, and it's a little bit different than your average net. Does anybody participate in this?
No, but it's on my hex beam.
Okay, this apparently is a cool deal because they go on 17 and then they talk, and then they also try these other bands as well. And it's a little different than your average net. And you just got to kind of read this if you want to participate and try to figure it out. But I'm told this is a really cool activity net. So I thought this would be something cool to try. So I'm wanting to try this one myself and see if I can get them guys. Consumer alert. AC3AV sent me. Dave sent me this one. This was. See, is Dave in here tonight? I don't think I've seen.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm here. I'm the one with the funny accent.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God. My bad. I have like 5 Daves, and I wasn't sure if that one was you. Okay. So anyway, there we go. Do you want to tell us about this one?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we put. I've got 3 Hewlett-Packard printers here, and one ran out of ink, and I've been charging the ink cartridges, with the syringe, but one of them, the CPU or whatever it is they have in the cartridge, went wobbly, so I bought some from Amazon, put them in, worked perfect. Earlier part this week, it came up and said, recommend installing new software. So I loaded the software, put it in, and the printer won't work. I called HP, and they said, unfortunately, they gave me the link, which I gave you, and they said, give it a try. But Hewlett-Packards now, they will not work. If you update the software, they will not work with cartridges that aren't Hewlett-Packard. I'm not sure.
Oh man,
I'm not sure that's a good idea or not.
This is going on with other brands of printers too, like the one that starts with M, I forget, but you'll put a perfectly acceptable cartridge in there, completely full. It's got the little chip on it and everything. You put it in, it's like, oh, the cartridge did not respond.
Yeah.
Like, give me a break. It's little gears that line up. It turns and the ink comes out. You don't need to interface with the card like that. It's like it tells you that it doesn't respond, even though it's a brand new refurbished thing. They do that, so you have to buy their.
I was going to say this is money,
called
guys.
Shakedown racket.
Exactly. Yeah. This is all about the money.
It's all about consumables. It's like, Coca-Cola, they don't care what bottle it comes in or anything else. They just want to sell the syrup. And it's the same with Hewlett-Packard. They make their money on the inkjets. What I'm worried about is that they're also going to start doing this with the lasers, because I've got one of their lasers, a 4-color laser, and I'm not using Hewlett-Packard laser cartridges in that either. So I don't know if this is the thin end of the wedge, but
if it ever prompts you to update the software, don't do it.
Yeah, unless it's a major issue, and then you've got to make the choice. I mean, fortunately, HP inkjet cartridges aren't that much more expensive than the stock ones. The other thing is that it's difficult to tell on Amazon sometimes if it is a Hewlett-Packard cartridge or a compatible one, because the way they do the ad and everything, it doesn't actually tell you. Bless you.
I want to ask you guys a question seriously. Has anybody ever made this statement before in their life? Yeah, I just got an update and everything's working great now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, for sure.
Has anyone ever made that statement ever?
Yeah, I got to admit, I did update my Kenwood, my 590S a couple of times, and I updated my Jesus with the new firmaware or whatever, and that was fine.
My TS5.
Well, that's ham radio. That doesn't
That's
count.
ham radio. Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm talking about Windows crap.
The only place where that applies is with Linux.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, Linux, you get an update and they actually fix problems instead of create them.
Gee, that's a novel concept, isn't it?
Well, I don't think they should be able to use the term update. It should just be date or down date or a lateral. At very best, it's a lateral date.
An anal retentive date.
Yes. And many times you get the update and nothing happens. Which reminds me of when I was dating. Anyway, all right, so let's go back to here.
Yeah, this is not a new thing. Printers have been being mean like this forever.
Excuse machines. The purpose of printers is to figure out a reason not to work.
Well, and you know what I did? I figured out a reason why I don't need a printer.
Yeah, same here.
All right, so ham radio news. We got a new leader of the FCC. I really don't care.
No. Oh no! Please no.
Yeah.
Oh gosh!
Yeah,
now we're gonna have.
I don't want to get political too because this person is very politically weird. But let's not get into all that. Yeah. So let's not get into that. But anyway, so let's just leave that right there. The WhisperNet data is being studied for clues on a downed airliner, and I thought this was kind of an interesting story. That it's a tool that we use, but kind of what we talked about earlier. This is kind of a propagation thing. And you guys remember that Malaysian airline flight MH370 that disappeared in the South Indian Ocean? Well,
that was the entire format of CNN for a while. Remember?
Yes, yes, it was. And people couldn't decide whether they thought it was in a hangar in Iran or it was still flying around somehow by the grace of God. I don't know. And there was all these conspiracy theories.
I think Jimmy Hoffa knows where it is.
Yeah. There's a good rule of thumb. If you're missing an airliner way out in the middle of nowhere over the ocean, it's probably somewhere out there in the ocean. Anyway, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be an ass, but that's just kind of the way it is. When you've eliminated all other possibilities, what remains has to be the fact. But anyway, it was there was a lot of people say, it could be here, it could be there. What you had a crazy co-pilot or whatever, and that's what ended up happening with that one. Anyway, the QSO Today, you guys know who QSO Today is. They do the virtual ham fest. This is where I'm going to be painfully honest with you. I went to the first one, it was horrible. I went to the second one, it was horrible. I'm not doing that again. But if you guys want to try it, I don't want to be discouraging. A lot of people liked it, and that's good. That's awesome. So I don't want to be discouraging. But for me, it was I'd rather work FT8 and watch YouTube videos. All right. Anyway, Silent Key. I want to mention we lost Bill Somerville. Bill G4WJS, now Silent Key. He was somebody playing Chutes and Ladders. He was very instrumental in the creation of the WSJTX program. And this letter that you see here is actually a letter um, from Joe, which is K1JT, and he's also in that project. So this literally is one of the three main people that put together the WSJTX software. So I just wanted to bring this up, that we lost another amateur radio operator, and this one had a big impact on the amateur radio community. So there you go. So he will be missed, even though I never had a chance to meet him or know him. I use software every day to contact other ham radio operators that he helped develop. So I thank God for him, and I thank God for that. But anyway, there you go. And I've got the whole article and the write up. If you want to read more, it's all in the in there. And the DX world is in here. Not a lot of people care about this, so I'm not going to read all through it, but it's all right there if you want. My funny boners of the week, and I agree with these. If you get kids interested in amateur radio, they'll never have money for alcohol and drugs. That is so true. You guys have no idea. It is so true.
I can confirm.
Yeah, Joseph never got hooked on drugs or phonics because never had the money because he was always buying radios. He was at the swap shop. So, and we don't sell weed at the swap shop. So there you go. It was just radios all the time. So anyway, there you go. And Yoda, you guys didn't know Yoda's a ham radio operator, did you?
No, I didn't know that. Y0.
Signal everywhere there is. Yeah, that's Yoda. Anyway, so there you go. 40 meters is big on indoor this time of year. All right, mystery of the week. This was a cool one. This was fun. Okay. This radio station was put on the air by the government when Barack Obama was inaugurated. Okay. And it kept telling people that the bridges were closed due to the inauguration. When the inauguration was over, no one ever shut the transmitter off, and it ran for 8 years.
1650 is the highway information travel agency thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So this radio continued to come on every hour and say, avoid this bridge and that bridge for the Obama inaugural parade that's going to be going through. And it was on such a low power, you had to be in like a 20 block radius to hear it. And it was just really fun. I got all the information on here if you want to like take a little bit of a deep dive. There's the full article here with even more information. And we can try to take a little listen if you want. It's kind of hard to hear. Did you guys hear that?
Oh yeah, down there in the noise. You can barely hear it. It's in the weeds.
Yeah, I wish there was a better. I don't know if these others, if there is other recordings, I don't know. But anyway,
That's hilarious.
it is. It's a neat little mystery. And when this guy actually went to, he went and started poking around, and he started sending letters, asking people, "What's up with this transmitter? What's going on? You know, why is it going on?" And it suddenly disappeared. Now, what I'm figuring is, it probably, the reason it was such low power, they probably unplugged the amplifier for it. And it was probably sitting there on 500 milliwatts or whatever it was feeding its amplifier with.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Could be.
And that's why it was, come on, Snotty. And that's why it was so, such a low power signal. But yet it was still, for 8 years, it persisted without any maintenance or anybody knowing about it or anything else. So I just thought that was a cool mystery. So you can read all about that. I even have like the licensing information and even the information here off of Broadcastify and Radio Reference and all that. Projects of the week. My project of the week is: are you sick of these stupid FDID, stupid programming cables that don't work? There's actually a way to build your own programming cable. And if you go here, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but if you go here, there's actually the little piece you buy and you hook the wires up yourself. It's really not that big a deal. And you make your own programming cable for your Baofeng or your TYT or your QIT or your VTech or whatever it is you're trying to make. So there you go. My thought of the week, you can read that. I'm talking about why is there so few licensed people that are actually talking on the radio, and I think it's a good little talk, but I don't want to get into all that tonight. But I'm really disappointed that there's so many thousands of licensees, and yet
So many are inactive.
we get 5 people on the radio net, and it's like of 26,000 people, we got 5 people on the radio net. It's just depressing. Okay, as far as this weekend's contest, the ARRL 10-meter contest is this weekend.
Really?
Yeah, it's CW and phone. With my antenna set up on 10, I'm not going to be able to get anything on phone, so I'm not going to bother with that. I don't know what this is. Low band sprint.
Oh, a sprint.
It's probably a couple of hours or something like that.
Yeah, they
6
make me
hours.
sweat and my legs hurt.
80, so 160, 80, and 40. High power, medium
Yeah,
power.
and it's PSK 31.
31. Okay.
This one's RIDI, which I don't use. Kitty, you can't push down the control button. Thank you.
You use
Cat
not
problems.
ready.
Yeah, I got cat problems.
Wow.
I could make jokes about that, but I'll keep it clean. And
We got Mike in here.
Yeah, I know. And we got the Sprintathon. Let's see. There's really nothing this weekend. There's crap, garbage. Why can't there be one good contest every weekend?
Man, someone's gonna put a pin in your coax. If they hear you.
I think somebody already has. All right, let's see here. All right, here's my website of the week for you guys. I think you're going to like this one. For those in the mountains and stuff, or maybe people like in Kentucky, this is a great tool because you can actually go in and put, you drag the 2 pins, one to where your transmitter is and one to where your receiver is, or your two positions on the map, and then you put your 2, like I did one where this person's talking to the 685, and you tell it the 685 is at 200 feet, which are 200 meters, which is 600 feet. And the green antenna is me here at 30 feet. So there's my propagation study. There's nothing between me and that tower. When I kind of already knew that, but this is great when you're dealing with, when you're only 8 feet and the person you're talking to is only 8 feet. This will tell you if there's ground that comes up in between the two of you. Where this comes in real handy is when you're doing long path, or when you're doing like ground wave along the ground for a long way, like up in the mountains and stuff. This will tell you that there's mountains that come up in between you. And I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. It's neat. It's called the line of sight tool.
I need to use this.
Yeah. Does this conclusively prove that the Earth is not flat?
No, this proves it is flat.
Proves it is flat.
Yeah, this proves it's definitely flat. And there's
man.
it's so flat you have no idea. So I'm wanting to show you guys if you go up to the mountains what this looks like. Okay, so if I like, let's say I'm here in Blue Ridge, Georgia, and I'm going to talk to my cabin up here in North Blairsville. Not line of sight, you don't.
Yeah.
Now, what if I am, 1,000 feet up a mountain? So let's say I'm 350 meters up the top of the mountain. Oh, we're getting better. Now, what if the guy I'm talking to has his antenna at, let's say, 12 feet? So let's say 3 meters. We still don't quite get there. I can't quite get over the mountain. If you can crank this up and you can see where you can eventually get over that, it shows you the elevation. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
It shows you the elevation of the mountain between you and the transmitter.
Man,
I don't know what I'm hearing.
it's
Sounds
me.
like Space Invaders.
It's me.
Flush the toilet or what?
All right, and let's see. But anyway, that's what that website does. It's pretty cool if you got your buddy and he's 60 miles away and you're trying to get to him on UHF or VHF or something. This would be a great way. Uh-oh, I just got a scanner alert for St. Charles. Where the hell is that at?
St. Charles.
Well, I gotta go here in a minute, but I wanted to show something before I go.
Missouri. There must be a tornado on the ground in Missouri.
Oh yeah. I want to show something before I go because I gotta go.
Okay.
Can I share screen?
Yes. Yeah. Go ahead. Let me get out.
Okay. So let me just do this. All right. This is something I've talked about before, but man, why does screen sharing make it so laggy? I don't get this. It's running at 80 FPS on my end, but oh, now it's okay. This is just stupid, but hold on. Walking around is smooth. Moving the mouse around is not. Okay. So this is a game called Signal Simulator. It's not so much a game as it is a simulator. You can see if I look out the window, there's those big telescopes, radio telescopes. And these are actually modeled after the Very Large Array in Mexico. It's actually a remake of it in this game. It's in the same like Y shape as it is. And this game is really cool. I found this about a year ago, and I have played it off and on since, but I just want to show it a little bit. So that's one of the dishes. You can walk around inside there, and you have to do certain things. So like inside of the satellite here is a server room. If I walk up here, up the steps, and I unlock the door and I go inside, there's a server in here, and you log into the server and you can do like type commands in, which you have to do occasionally because sometimes these dishes go offline and then you have to come out here and manually restart them. So that's the like satellite dish mechanism kind of. So the point of this game is to operate these telescopes here and get
You get a phaser?
You do if you play a certain mode, like a
I was
chaos
actually
mode.
kidding, but yeah.
No, you do.
That's a moon bounce antenna over there, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
That's what it looks like.
This thing rotates around. So the point of the game is to operate these things. Computers side, operate it, and you can get signals. Yeah, this is like a moon bounce thing. Kind of moves slowly in a circle. But yeah.
I want one of those.
I want one of those too, man. Think of the range you can get on that.
Think what you could do to your neighbor if he pisses you off.
Why has the golf cart got a scent thing in it and it's outside? That's not going to work. Going to make the outside smell nice.
It's a video game anyway. It don't have smell-o-vision. I love the green screen.
Yeah, we like that too.
How about the reel-to-reel tape recorders over on the left?
Yeah,
laptop. Go to this RC.
Fasten your safety belt. Fasten your safety belt. It's coming right at us. Lock phasers. Well, this is pretty cool. I had no idea something like this even existed.
I'm super critical. They got pens there, but no paper to write on.
It's all top secret.
Well, yeah, if it's top secret, you could write on it, I guess. What are you doing, kitty? I don't know why it sounds like thunder in there.
What does the sticky note say?
Top secret.
An alien.
It is.
I like the little Raspberry Pi hanging out of the bottom of that one thing.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. Well, at least they got a Christmas tree up, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
What kitty?
You need one of those ARRL calendars with the cats.
Yeah.
Or the Zoom meeting one where the cat's duct taped to the wall. Preparing for a Zoom meeting and you duct tape the cat to the wall.
There you go. What's the messed up part is I have enough cats, I think, to do the whole 12 months. Quit knocking my stuff over.
But have you got enough duct tape?
Probably. No, probably not, actually, the more I think about it.
You got a big roll of it here.
My kitties. I love cats. I've got a lot of cats. I got one right now that is 16 years old that I've had for a very long time. I adopted her and her mama right after she was born. Her mama died last year. And I've got my wife has one. It's 13, and We've got another one. We adopted the mama and the daddy kitty, and we got them both fixed, and they're both raising their child, and they all three are this happy little family that hangs out together all the time. It's kind of weird. It's fun. And I got 5 or 6 others. Another one we took in from across the street. I just love cats. I can't get enough of them. They enrich my life. They're like radios, but without the magic smoke. Well, Joseph, this is an interesting game. I had no idea. Wow. Are you trying to call City Alpha 5? I like the cordless phone.
See, the thing is, says minus 18 point something degrees C. Oh, yeah, I think I'll stay in Florida. There it is.
Yeah, it looks like it's snowing out there.
Cold. Minus 19 degrees C is pretty damn cold.
Oh. This is pretty interesting. I gotta tell you, I never knew something like this even existed. Is that a Mars rover?
That's what it looks like.
I mean,
I'd like to have
obviously
one of
it's
those.
not a Mars rover.
I'd like to have one of those to have run around here in the neighborhood.
Yeah, that would be cool. Trying to 40 meters is so busy right now on FT8 that I can't even find a parking space. So I went up to FT4, and sure enough, there's a few other people up on FT4. Was no crash.
Solar. Looks good right now.
You had to walk all the way out there just to clean the snow off.
Hey,
They couldn't have put that button back in the control room. right,
'Cause-
so let's do this. Does anybody have anything else before we end the YouTube here?
Don't forget the swap meet tomorrow.
Yep, swap shops tomorrow.
I think it's the last one of the year.
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna try to make it myself. We're gonna see how it goes. We'll see if my well pump's working in the morning. All right, that's all I have tonight. Does anybody else have anything else they'd like to talk about or do? Or
Nope.
okay, well, just to reiterate, we've got a show next week. We are off the following week, which is the Christmas Eve.
Mhm.
Okay, and as far as New Year's Eve, I don't know. I may just pop on and see if who's here. We'll just see what's going on. I don't know, but we'll let you know next week. I'll figure it out and we'll let you know next week. Last call. Anything else? I'm going to end the live stream. All right. For those on YouTube, have a good night out there. We'll see you next week. This is the Southwest Florida TechNet at SWFLtech.net. We're on every Friday night.